Welcome to another episode of the Headlight Restoration Pro, where I show you how to take difficult headlights like this and turn them into something like this. Better than the day I rolled off the lot, and you don't know how many times I hear that from the customer. In fact, I heard it from this customer. Also, we're going to be showing you this vehicle on part 2 to this episode, because they were done on the same day, right at the same time.
How did you manage to access all this information?
Electrical impulses. Every cell knows and talks to every other cell. They exchange 1,000 bits of information between them per second. Cells group together, forming a giant web of communication, which in turn forms matter. Cells get together, take on one form.
Let's get down to business. Okay, this is a 2016 Nissa Murano. All right, we're going to be working on this vehicle today. I'm going to show you one headlight of this vehicle, and also going to be working on this vehicle today as well. I'm going to show you one headlight as well in this vehicle on part 2 to this episode. It will not be on this episode. It'll be on part 2 to this episode. And the reason why I'm showing you these two vehicles is just because I happen to have these at the same time, at the same appointment, same customer, all that stuff. And both of these headlights are two of the most difficult style headlights you can possibly be working on. On the world of difficulty, there's only 3 different kind of difficult headlights that you can do in a typecast. There's headlights like this that have all these crazy curves and all these things like that. It looks like a megalodon tooth or something. It's literally a headlight restoration's nightmare, especially in taping off and just working on to get that flawless headlight restoration look, that perfection, that level 12 out of 10 that I always achieve. It's more difficult to get them with these. You have to go through certain processes and certain different levels and have a degree of skill about yourself to make a headlight like this. This is what will make and break a pro, is one of these lights like this. The other one, of course, is falls under a different category of difficulty. It falls under extreme damage difficulty, where there's all the kind of scratching, burning, or this and that. It's a 2006, so it's almost a 20-year-old vehicle that has never had a headlight restoration. The vehicle was immaculate and just perfect shape. The customers told me that his brother left the vehicle to him because he moved to the Philippines about 2-3 years ago, so he just gave him the vehicle, and he really took care of the vehicle. Everything was perfect, looked like brand new off the showroom floor vehicle for 2006. A really good looking vehicle, except the headlights were some of the worst headlights I've done so far this year, or within the last couple months. As far as damage, they're heavily sun beaten. They're just there's probably about 10% of the headlight escaping the headlight. They're so bad. And the other one, the third, I'm not showing on this video, but there's other examples, not on this one or two, but there are certain examples on different videos of mine, of course, and those are the ones that have the excessive clear coats, that either have those 2K clears or that have those hard Kia, headlights that are really hard. On top of that, they have a hard, super clear coat. Those are the third brand of difficult headlights. There's only those 3 forms of difficulty of headlights, okay? Other than that, the headlights are primarily easier to do. As you see here on this one, I am pretty much using the drill on the flat surfaces, trying to stay away from any area that has these curves or bends or these weird areas. I mean, really, look at this area right here. See that? Look at that area. Look at all that stuff. Look how it bends right there, and it's like a shark tooth and this and that. And then on top of that, you might be looking at this as like a flat ledge or whatever. These areas like flat ledges, they're actually curved in different areas on top of curves. It's very complicated. So I'm just focusing on the removal aspect of it and the drill work aspect of it on the spots that are flat enough to be considered flat, okay? And the other parts, the curves and all the weird parts, I'm leaving alone pretty much to do hand sand work and wet hand sand work. and you will see a totally different type of approach to the next headlight with different sanding grits and different techniques and stuff, and how much I'm grinding and all kind of things will be a little bit different, or actually a lot different, on the next video, which is the part 2 to this, which is now streaming because I released these both at the same time. I don't often do that because I don't know if it's just overwhelming people or whatever, but I'm going to give it a try, 2 at once. So this is the part 1, of course, and the part 2 is streaming right there again. But yeah, working with a light source that's kind of behind me to the side. These are the best garages to work in because there's a lot of dust when doing this method, and there's a lot of fumes when you're spraying. So you don't want to breathe any of that stuff in. Also, light is good. So this is a good light source, so I can see all the blemishes, anything I need to take care of. But there's a door pretty much a foot away from me while I'm working on this, which is good. Hopefully there's not too many glares or whatever through this video, but should be good, be able to see everything that's going on. But yeah, beware of the Nissans. There's different ways that different vehicle manufacturers like to make their headlights. From, how hard they want to make them to, different little shapes and stuff like that. And these things affect the difficulty of headlight restoration on those said type of vehicles. Say, for instance, Kia headlights are typically very basic, but they're the hardest headlights to ever do. Kia, Hyundai, Mercedes, they are the most difficult headlights to do. They're very temperamental, they're very hard, rock hard, okay? And they're also, believe it or not, the worst headlights to ever have or own, far as the quality, okay? The quality seems like it's good at first because it's so hard and it's so clear and hard, but those won't last you for shit, okay? It's almost like, I don't know, robbing Peter to pay Paul, it's, trying to have everything look so good and so perfect, that it's overly done and overly perfect, because they won't last long. They have a lot of permanent damage and side effects that happen with these headlights very early onset. I'm talking 4 years, 5 years. And they're just going to continue through the life of the headlight until you're probably going to need a new headlight in 10, 15 years. Whereas a Toyota or Japanese made car, or Civic or Honda or something like that would have a very much softer, even this headlight, even Nissans will have a very softer approach to headlights, which will stop permanent damage in the long run, okay, and will stop impact damage and all kind of things. They are better quality lights for the long road, okay? These lights, if you really take care of them, these lights will last you 45 years. Shit you not, if you take care of them. Those other lights I was talking about, man, like I said, 10, 15 years before they're just so fucked up, you just, no headlight restoration is going to do anything for it. It's all about design and concept and all these things, and that's what they choose to do, even if they probably know that's the case. That kind of benefits the manufacturer or the car industry anyways. Not to be on a conspiracy tip, but there are issues like that do occur every day in everything you do. This particular light, as far as texture and the clear coat, is very easy to work with. But because it's shaped like this, Nissans are notorious for this. The Maxima, the Ultima, all these vehicles, all these different Nissan vehicles are really fucked up to work with. This is one of the most messed up ones to work with. The Ultima is pretty terrible, just like this, with all these turns and curves. Now, just imagine how much slower I have to work on this vehicle like this, with all these things, and how much more cautious you have to be to make sure that you don't mess up anything and make sure that you achieve that perfect 12 out of 10. Right, like I always achieve, and that I won't settle for nothing less unless it's just not possible. Okay. Besides all that slowdown, see my finger right there? I'll show you how I got that in the part 2 video. It's very interesting, and it will help you understand what will help you with headlight restoration as well. But that'll be on part 2, and I'll show you why that is there. All right, and I'll show you something else that you don't know what's going on right now as well. Just saying, trying to keep you intrigued, and that's on part 2. So besides the slowdown and having to hand sand and hand wet sand all these areas and be so cautious, let me give you another breakdown. The other light over there, when I taped off, or any general light per se, takes roughly about 3 to 7 minutes per light to tape off. This one over here, the last vehicle, or the next vehicle that's going to be on part 2 of this, probably took me about 4 minutes to tape off each side, a grand total of less than 10 minutes to tape off each side and get started, right? Or tape it off or whatever, right? This light takes about 16, 17 minutes just to tape off properly. Okay, look at this tape. Look at how it's taped. It's so protected. It's a peace of mind. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys all the time. Oh, I don't want to spend the money on the tape. Even if I didn't buy this in bulk, I buy this in bulk where I get like a crate of 100 pieces, 100 rolls of tape. Okay, and the overhead is so cheap on it. For me, this much tape on one light is probably about 10 cents, right? Even if I just bought each roll separate for like $8 or something, $5, $6, whatever, it would be like a quarter worth of tape. Isn't that a peace of mind on each side? It'd be like 50 cents for your taping, right? Wouldn't that be a peace of mind? Because if you fuck their car up, if you sand off tape and you don't know how to fix it, even though I know how to fix it, if I sanded this all the way down to the bumper where the bumper is exposed, I know how to prime, I know how to paint, I know how to clear coat, I know how to color match, blend, polish, puff, all that stuff. Ceramic, it'll be better than the day it ever, looked beforehand, right? So I know how to do that, and I'm still scared as shit of doing that because I don't want to spend time doing it, because what is time? Time is money. So if I'm sitting there coming back to do, fix on some shit for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, I could have been doing so many different things. I could have been, sleeping. I could have been playing with my daughter. I could have been walking my dog. I could have been doing all kind of shit, right? So for you guys to say, or for anybody, any professional or anybody to say, fuck it, I'm just going to put one place of tape, nothing's ever going to happen. Bullshit. I'm one of the best you ever will see at this. And I still have shit that happens every day, all the time. Okay. But the thing is, I put these safeguards in place. This tape job is so beautiful. Like, I could just be fucking around talking to you with one hand and sword fighting it, not even paying attention, doing whatever the hell, just tapping it and, do this whole headlight with one hand. And I probably wouldn't damage the vehicle with a power tool. That is a peace of mind. And that, to me, that's worth 10 cents. That's worth 15 cents. That's worth 25 cents. Shit, if it cost me $2 to tape off each light, that's worth it. Okay? Because in the long run, so how much you are going to be charging for this. I mean, what is $2 a headlight? It's probably what? It's less than 10%. It's probably like 1%. I'm just going to say it's like 1% of what I'm charged for this car, right? So, like, what? Who gives a shit? Your overhead is so low. It's just people are lazy as fuck. And that lazy shit is going to catch up to you where you're going to mess up somebody's paint and they're going to be pissed. And then what? You're going to, oh, I have insurance because I'm a real business, right? Then you're going to send it off to insurance, right? Okay, just like me, I'd have to send it off to insurance if I couldn't fix it, right? I'm going to send it off to insurance, and what? I do one again next week, and then I do another one. What happens? They drop you, and they don't cover the shit, and they just say it's negligence. Because ain't nobody got to keep, if you have a mechanic shop that's insured, and they keep, over tightening oil filters where it breaks the freaking outlet, and let's just say they have to replace engine because it broke the outlet, so the company has to pay $6,000 for the engine, right? And they can do that once, do that twice, do that third time. Yeah, right. They're not going to keep fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just things snowball, and you can't rely on those things. You have to rely on your competentness. You have to be competent. You have to have common sense. You can't be lazy when it comes to this shit. Okay, message. You can't be lazy when it comes to this shit. It will bite you in the ass 7 times out of 10. Okay? No shit. And I'm just showing you the Meguiars because about this point, I put the Meguiars in my pockets. Right now, it's so cold where I'm from. It's like, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning right now, and it's like 50 degrees. It just approached 50 degrees. So I put it in my pocket to start warming it up. It only takes about 3 to 5 minutes if you have close to skin contact or skin contact. Skin contact's the best because it's going to go really fast. But close to skin, like just your little inside pocket or whatever, the cargo pant, is going to take like, 4 or 5 minutes maybe. To heat it up to your body temperature, which average body temperature I believe is 98.6. So that's more than enough, more than a heat. You probably wouldn't even want it. You wouldn't want the can to be too much over 100 degrees. You wouldn't even want you wouldn't want the can to be too much over 100 degrees at all. So 98.6 is like the perfect range, your body temperature. So I showed that just to let you know that's about the point where I put it in my pocket to get it ready, to get it warmed up. Of course, I'm not going to get to that point for another, 10 minutes or 8 minutes or so. So it's more than enough time. And as you see with this, once again, the 3000 Trizac is not a scratch maker. It is a scratch removal or remover. Okay, that's why I'm not worried about going into those crevices or going into those curves or whatever, because it's got to do nothing but remove any kind of scratch that's in there. It's a very safe product. But yeah, these tape jobs on this vehicle is like a work of art, and it's just beautiful. And I tell you what, people subconsciously know shit. Even if my customer knows nothing about headlight restoration, he kept coming out and checking it out and coming out. He came out maybe 3 times. Very nice guy. He brought me lunch, all that stuff. Brought me a couple other things as well that you'll see on part 2. Very nice guy. Tip, all that stuff. He's just outstanding customer, which a lot of my customers are or whatnot. A lot of customers in this field are, because they're so happy that you're saving them all this money. I mean, look at how much this headlight costs. That's amazing, right? That's amazing. Now you just put 2 and 2 together of how much I charge, and it's like pennies on the dollars. It's like it's just not even an afterthought. Like when the dealership is telling these people like, oh, you need a new headlight for $900 plus, for $900 a piece plus installation is going to be $400, and we're going to need your vehicle for 4 hours to do it. Like, these people are like, oh my freaking goodness. Like, they're like, this is some bullshit, right? I can't see at night. And then you come on through and you take care of it. They look better than the day I rolled off the lot. I mean, it's a win-win situation, and they're generally very, very happy with what you have done, which of course you would, anybody would. It's common sense. That's the beauty of headlight restoration. Also, like what I was saying, when the customer comes out and he sees how well you are treating his vehicle, how beautifully this tape job looks. I mean, just look at it. Look how safe it looks. Like, it looks like, damn, he can't even fuck up my car if he wanted to, right? And then when you, versus looking at this, when, somebody comes out and they see one string of tape all the way around the headlight, they're kind of like, oh, God, this guy's running his arm up and down, and, oh, God, he has a power tool, or he's moving his arm up and down. Like, what if he just sneezes and scratches all my paint? They're probably nervous and shit. Right. And, that's a working experience. Okay. So you might say, oh, I pulled off at the end anyways, and it was wonderful and he loved it. But still, that fright is still in that person. That calmness is not there. And that goes over to, transfers over to recommendation, reviews, all kind of shit like that. It's different. I have people that see my work ethic and see all this work, and I want to tell my grandmother, I want to tell my father, I want to tell my people at work. They're just, good work. I have an old friend of mine, and she didn't quite use this terminology for textbook work or whatever, but she said, good work sells itself. Okay, let's just put it that way. And, she was absolutely right. Good work sells itself. And a lot of people are on here asking me, how do you do this? And how do you get this out there? This and that. And it's like, in the future, I'll go more in depth with stuff like that. But it's basically good work sells itself. Okay, that's one of the ground zero things out there. Okay. If you have a good work ethic, you clean, you smell good, you work good, you don't look like a hobo out there doing his headlights. You're professional, you speak good, you're courteous, and you're treating that vehicle with love and respect. People pick up on those cues, so subliminally, which means they're not thinking about it. They see it, but they don't really know what's going on. But it makes them feel good inside. Okay, so that's ground zero. Okay, let me sidebar on that. With this, with these pads or whatever, this high speed, you really gotta watch those outside edges. Okay, for one, they don't have any of the polish on there. For two, because if you did have the polish on there, they would just fling off everywhere, right? The centrifugal force, which is, if you think of centrifugal force, okay? Remember back in the day, I don't know, younger people might not know this one, so let me think of something else. Well, anyways, if you were on a something spinning, right? Something spinning around in a circle, an actual circle. If you do donuts or whatever in the street, something spinning in a circle, the outside force on the outside of whatever's spinning is extremely higher than whatever's going on the inside. The further you get inside, the less. The further you get out on the outside, the more force there is. And that's that pulling force. When you like enter the freeway, you could feel it, like if it's on a curve, you could feel it like pulling you to the side. If you're on a roller coaster, when it turns, you could, whatever way it's turning, you're getting thrown to the outside of it. You can feel that, right? That's centrifugal force. The force on the outside is much, much greater than what's going on anywhere else. So you have to watch out, because whatever force you're putting on the tip of that drill, the outside of it, the parameter of it is a lot more. So it can burn really quick. You just touch certain shit, right? Too much. Psh, 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 that's all it would take, that quick. And it would have these burns inside that area. So what I did is, what you saw is I slowed down really slow once I hit those inside parts and those turns and those whatever, because I didn't want to hit those. And that's what I have learned from experience, okay? Didn't want to go too far into scientific things. Like, I know all the terms and I know all of the real, 1.5 gigawatts and shit, but this is how I teach. I try to make it so anybody can understand. So forgive me if I went a little too egghead on the centrifugal force or whatever, but yeah, these headlights, I'm always like, God damn, this car, I can't stand these cars. But it's, the more you do, the better you feel about them. It's just, it's, just with anything, the more practice, the more times you do it, the better it is. Everybody hates going to work. Even if you own a business, you hate going to work. I mean, you might love it, but there's times where you're like, fuck this shit. I'm so tired of doing this shit today, or this week or whatever. But it's all work. And, once you do more and more, you get better acquainted at it. But if you noticed how I started this one, I started spraying in those areas first up top and in those curves or whatever, because those are the areas that are going to need to have a little bit more coating for protection. And those are the areas that are going to need a little more coating for adherence. Okay. You just want to, it's a little more advanced topic, but certain parts of the headlight you want to be thicker. Okay, and even in the factories, these machines that are spraying these headlights, they know that the people and the scientists, whatever, have programmed certain lights to be sprayed different. Okay, believe it or not. And I've noticed this because I'm removing some of the shit, and I'm like, why is it so thick up here? Why is it so fucking thick up here? But down in the bottom, it's just like, oh, this is hella thin, right? Because they're applying this method because they want certain areas of the light that are troubled to be thicker. Okay, generally on the top parts of these, on this light up here, it was thicker, so I'm putting it back thicker. Why? Because all those areas that went bad first, right? Sidebar, see that? It's 50 degrees and I'm still air drying. I'm forced air drying. There's nothing better than forced air drying for headlight chemicals. Okay. But anyhow, back on topic. I had to spray more up there. That's where it started going bad. That's where it started hazing, and because that's where these lights are prone to go bad, because they're very forward-facing up in that area. Okay, they have that shelf up there that's gonna go bad before anything else. But stay tuned to episode 2 of this, part 2. It's gonna show this vehicle. Thanks for watching.
How did you manage to access all this information?
Electrical impulses. Every cell knows and talks to every other cell. They exchange 1,000 bits of information between them per second. Cells group together, forming a giant web of communication, which in turn forms matter. Cells get together, take on one form,